Love you. What is up, everyone? Welcome Sunday Night Live. Thank you so much for being here. I see we got a bunch of people in the room already. Super awesome. There you go. We got about 5 people in here already. That's cool. Let's see. David Parsons, good morning from the UK. Well, it's morning for you, my brother. It's nighttime for us here in South Florida. And let's see. We got John. Hey, John. Welcome from Central Florida. Probably pretty cold out there in Central Florida. What's the temperature in the UK, David? We're pushing about 70 right now, which it is just shy of 8 o'clock. It's going to be low to the high 50s tonight. Let's see. Who else we got in here? I don't know. That's it. That's the only comments we got so far. It doesn't give me a list of who's here. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Excited to see what the S&P 500 does for us tonight. You see, I've got the major chart, the main chart going on here tonight. So we can kind of watch it. You see that if you're looking at my chart right now, you see we've got major volume up here on the days prior to the last couple days. And then it's very low volume here, but that's okay because we have the most volume right here in the Friday. And we had a heck of a Friday run up. So I'm excited to see what the S&P 500 does tonight and the other stocks that we normally look at, the AJDT best day trade stocks. But I think we are going to 5 degrees. Okay, that's centigrade. Yeah. Wow. Okay. 5 degrees. Whew. A little bit cold down there. But we'll see what the markets show us tonight. I think that the potential for some green days is definitely upon us, but I want to talk to you a little bit as we get started before we jump into any of the charting and while we wait to see for some other people to join us. We've got about 9 people in here, so welcome. Drop a comment in the chat. Let us know who you are and where you're from. But I will tell you that there's a couple things. For those of you that are not live with us that are going to watch this recording later, first of all, welcome. If it's your first time here, thank you for joining the channel. Thank you for jumping on a video with us. Hit the like button for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that notification bell. And obviously in the comments or in the description down below, if you want to join the AJDT Discord, please do so. Would love to have you as part of our Discord, where we are working together as a trading community, building a family, not just a community. But let me just kind of level set a little bit for you. We've got about, we got about a minute and 15 seconds left before we see what the S&P 500 does for us. I just want to say that what needs to happen right now is sort of a mental reset, right? We had some serious red days last week. Freaked out a lot of people. The fear was extreme fear on the scale, and a lot of people were selling off, panic selling, and getting out of positions. You saw what happened with Michael Burry. Now listen, this guy basically preaches bearish all the time. He is the sky is falling, chicken little. You're going to hear all kinds of stuff going on right now. You're going to hear the dogs barking. You're going to hear my granddaughter with my wife. You're going to hear my sons. There's all kinds of stuff going on here in the house tonight. So I apologize for that. But the reset has to be, you've got to take all your charts, okay, and reset them. Go back to clear. All right. Now, for the S&P 500 for me, I've already sort of done that a little bit. If I show you on the 5 minute and kind of bring this in, I've done some resetting. I've done some new charting on levels down below, and just to kind of give us an idea of where we're at right now. But the idea is you've got to reset your charts. You need to draw new support and resistance levels for anything that you are considering trading tomorrow morning, Monday, or even through the week. Okay. You've got to find that top ceiling and bottom level support floor to know what the range is of the stock over 5 days. Now, being that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and pretty much Thursday, we're all on a down run for the most part. It's easy to do that because there's not a lot but a high top and then a low bottom. but you've got to draw the lines. We're going to talk a little bit through that tonight as we go through some of these stocks. We're going to take a lot of looks at the AJDT best day trade stocks because, as I've shared many times, you can still make money in a down market. When the market's running down, and I'm not just talking about options traders. I know that many people love to be in options. What I'm talking about is even when the market's running down, okay, when they hit specific support levels, it turns and runs back up to a resistance level and then just rejects and comes back down. Well, that's your opportunity to get in and out of those stocks. You can even see in the example of the S&P 500 from Friday that, it had a very good day, right? We opened up the market at 663. Okay. This was our floor, right? It broke through that, continued on an up launch. You could say people started to maybe freak out a little bit here where it started to bounce. But you wait because all these candles are equal candles and the wick shows you it still wants to go higher, and it did, and it kept going. Then we got here, rejected on this line, pulled back, broke through, kept going, and it got here, and this is the stall, 675.66, about there. Just continued to bang against this level, and then it said, nope, time to push back down. And then it came up, and you see it almost made it back, and it pushed back down, right? And so on the 5-minute, you can easily watch those support and resistance levels. A lot of people like to be on the 1-minute. I don't love to be on the 1-minute, okay, because the 1-minute, let me go to auto, the 1-minute still lives within those support and resistance levels. But man, this thing moves so fast that if you're trying to make decisions in and out on a 1-minute, look at this. You'd be out here and try to get back in, out here, try to get back in, out here, try to get back in. Nobody's going to trade like that. So 5 minutes good for in and out, okay? Directionally. But for me, 15 minutes is where I live. So I want to see these nicer candles. Most people are in a 30-minute, a 1 hour, and some people love to trade the 4 hour, which I've told you I have a good friend that lives in the 4 hour. I don't like the 4 hour because it's too challenging, right? I mean, yes, if you're in this 4 hour candle and it's not pulling back to a 50% mark here, then you're good to go. And I get that, but I don't like not really seeing and knowing what's happening in these little candles up and down in the tick. So I stay pretty much in the 15-minute because that's where you're getting these little candles, right, to show you upward. Okay, now it's pulling back upward. So Ravi, North Carolina in the house. What's up, Ravi? So glad to have you with us again tonight, brother. So let's do this. I kind of shared, just for Ravi jumping in, just shared we're talking about resetting. You got to basically redraw your support and resistance levels. You got to be really intentional about that because this is a different market going into Monday this week than it was going into Monday last week. We were at some all-time highs, and then we had a lot of pullback from the week prior into that week. So you can't use the same support and resistance levels at the high. Now, you can leave your support and resistance levels from the weeks prior up there, but you got to redraw the ones down here. And so I like to just reset the whole chart, start from scratch, like I said, except for the SP 500. Hey, Lynn is in the house. What's up, Lynn? Another one, we got Ravi, Lynn, John, all Discord members. So happy to see you guys in our Sunday Night Live. So let's do this. Let's see what we got. We're a few minutes after the S&P 500, gap up, gap down. So you can see we did gap up. Okay, that's not bad. That's good. We did show a gap up. It's pulling back down. Let me go to the 15-minute. All right, and not bad. I'm not upset about that because at least we didn't gap down, right? At least it popped up and it did pull back, but it basically is higher than where it's closed out on Friday night at 8 p.m. So now here we are tonight at 8 p.m. and it's up. All right, I'm going to go to my regular charting. All right, and just kind of see the numbers. So we closed at 671.93 on Friday. Aftermarket closed at 673.34. We're up from that 673.47. That's good. We're 1.54% up from the close. That's good. Not upset about that. I did not expect we were going to see a major gap up tonight, right? There's still a lot of fear in the market. And yeah, Ravi, Ravi from North Carolina, he's telling us futures are green. Absolutely. So if we go to markets, you can see here, where's my futures? Here we go. Futures. All right. It's not showing me my futures. Come on, baby. All right. Well, we're having a little bit. There we go. There you go. All right. So um, this is all micro micro S&P, the minis, the micro Nasdaq. Okay, with the exception of a couple is green. Micro E mini, Russell 2000, pretty good green. All right, so that's good. That is a good indicator. All right, and the micro E mini Dow for all futures, mostly green. That's pretty good. That gives us some direction for tomorrow. All right, but when we get back to our stocks as a whole, let's kind of go in and see what's happening with the AJDT November list. All right. Paulette is in the house, another Discord member. What is up, Paulette? So glad to have you here tonight. All right, so here's the deal, okay? Tesla. All right, Tesla did pump and pulled back. So this could be a little bit concerning, and there is a lot of activity in Tesla right now. Wow. Look at the activity. Look at the pumping going on for Tesla. Now, Tesla is always very volatile, always a lot of moving, but it is pulling back. It's coming down. 400, 401 is where it's at right now. We closed in the aftermarket at 405, so this is a drop. Not loving that. AMD is up, but then pulled back. 247, down from the aftermarket. We may be seeing a lot of green tomorrow, everybody. We're going to have to see what happens at 4:30 in the morning when we wake up for our regularly scheduled morning, which would be the 9:30 bell. But depending on what time you get up or where you're at in the world, right? Because we've got UK, we've got some other areas here. So NVIDIA is up with a pullback, but it did pump here to 193. So that's good to see. Palantir is pulling back down a little bit. Not happy to see that, 174. But, you know, we're about where we closed. So we'll see what happens with that, you know. And just a lot of activity is going to take place tonight through this 24-hour market into tomorrow. SoFi, all right, SoFi, I already did my box strategy, so you guys can see I am ready, but we had kind of a nice pump up there. You know, this is the thing for me, right? And please feel free, everybody, jump in the chat and share your comments, how you feel. But for me, even though it pumped up and it pulled back, is directional. It shows us where it wants to go. The market wants to go higher. And we closed in the aftermarket on Friday, 28.23 on SoFi. We're at 28.19, so right about where we closed. Not bad, not too bad. We'll see what happens with that. Rigetti, okay, they're all sort of following trend here, so I'm not going to speak too soon about where I believe this is all going, but APLD kind of flat on the after to the overnight. QBTS is 24 hours also, you know, trading. So basically where we're at right now is we are in essence running, you know, about where we closed. You know, we're going to run horizontal for a little while and see what happens with the market. You know, the government's back open. I know a lot of people had a lot of news about, you know, how they felt. There was a lot of talk about how they felt about the market opening or the government opening back up. This is live, so I can't correct any of this, right? You're getting live and raw. I'm just hearing dogs barking, kids. I'm hearing all kinds of stuff going on behind me. Oh man, look at Will. What's up, Will? Welcome. The release of the Trumpstein files. Yeah, so interestingly, right? Government opens up. We got nothing else to talk about the shutdown. So we go right back to the Epstein files. All right, you know, whatever they need to do in the news, whatever we need to pump it, but that's not helping anything, all right? I just feel like I wish the media in all sides, all directions would kind of, you know, focus on what's really going on. Ravi up in North Carolina, I actually heard a report right before I went live that there's a bunch of rioting taking place right now in your state, I guess, because DHS is focused on, you know, some immigration, operations right now. So there's some stuff going on in the Carolinas right now as well. But anyway, listen, here's the thing. I'm just gonna tell you, you've got to be careful, right? You have to be super careful going into this Monday tomorrow. I hadn't looked to see what the news is. Let me see if I even have it posted yet for the Discord group. I normally put in what's happening. Let me see if it came up on my screen yet. I don't think I got it yet. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay, yes, I do have it. I do have it. Awesome. So here's what's happening this week. We have tomorrow before opening 9 a.m. and 9:30. Fed Williams and Fed Jefferson are both speaking. Now those have medium risk to the market. We've got some earnings tomorrow. I already threw the earnings calendar for our Discord group. I already threw the earnings in there for you so you can see what is going to be this week. But there's some big names this week that I'm pretty excited about. Let's see. At 10 o'clock and 10:30 in the morning on Tuesday, we have the e-commerce retail sales and Fed bar are going to speak. Those are both medium risk. We've got some other earnings after close, both tomorrow and Tuesday. Earnings on Wednesday morning. There's some big names in there. But at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, which could be a market buster, we've got the minutes of Fed's October FOMC meeting. Fed Williams, you've got NVIDIA earnings after close on Wednesday. That's going to be huge. And I think a lot of people are waiting to see what's happening with NVIDIA. Because, the story right now, the media story right now is the AI bubble is about to burst. All right. Well, I don't believe it. I don't trust it. I'm not buying it. I'm just going to share with you right now. And listen, obviously, this is all my opinion. But the AI bubble, there's no such thing as an AI bubble, okay? Because if you consider this for a minute, think about the dot-com, right? Yes, there was a dot-com bubble, all right? But dot-com still lived on, moved on, and we never got rid of dot-com, okay? Otherwise, we wouldn't be here on the internets, which I like to say, right? Internet's still alive and well. We also have cloud. Cloud to me is the comparison for AI right now. Everybody said, "Oh, this whole cloud thing is going to burst. It's going to pop." There's nothing good about this cloud. Well, cloud now, we all live with cloud. All right. If you are in any type of legal profession or corporate type profession, you have Dropbox. That's all cloud based. We have, in my corporate world, we have, secured closed circuit television systems, where we do remote views, we do monitoring, we do all that. We do forensic investigations and we use it, live feeds. All right. Well, that's all cloud-based now, okay? I can pull up any of my world in the corporate world on my laptop and watch what's going on cloud-based, okay? Well, AI is the same thing. And if you think about it, do you think they could just turn off, ChatGPT, Grok, right, on X, all these? Do you think we could just turn them off and say, we don't need that anymore? Okay, we absolutely need it, right? But you have to be careful with any new technology. And I'm reminded all the time, there's two movies that my wife throws at me all the time. iRobot, okay, because of what Tesla is trying to do, what Elon's trying to do with these robots. We're all kind of freaked out about that. I don't necessarily know that I want to wake up in the morning, have a robot standing there with a cup of coffee, a hot cup of coffee, ready to give me my coffee. I don't think that's going to work for me. The other thing is, let's see, we have the Tesla AI, and then the fact that everybody's using it to build things, to grow things. I totally lost my train of track of thought here. And if you guys, I see John just threw a comment in there. If you guys are receiving ads during this, yeah, it's possible that it may stop and launch a commercial, launch an ad, and apologize for that. I think we'll have to turn those off for the live Sunday night lives. We can do that, so we will turn those off for the future. But anyway, AI is not going anywhere. Okay, that's how I feel. I feel like AI is something that's being interwoven to our world, and it's not going anywhere. So Now, are there some AI companies that are overbought or, basically, overstated? Yes, I agree. I hope not right now, but Rigetti is one I have a long-term position in, and it's down a lot. It's at $25.48. So I don't know what it's going to do, but I believe in the future it's going to continue to run up, and we'll see. So we'll see how that whole thing works, but that's sort of my take on AI. Okay. All right. I'm going to throw a couple things out at you before you ask, but feel free to drop in the chat a stock that you want me to chart for you. I'm going to look at Poet, and I don't think somebody usually asks for Poet in here, but I'm going to show you Poet. So Poet I have built, and this is, let's do a little charting 101 very quick for everybody. What I do is I do a 5-day, 30-minute, okay? And I pull it back in to get my 5 days. All right. And I'm just going to do this here. All right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Well, this doesn't count because this is basically the 4:30 in the morning pump up, but it's 24-hour market. My high is the ceiling here at market open. At market close on Friday, this is our floor. This is our low. Okay. So I've got a high for 5 days, which is my ceiling. This is my resistance level for the 5 days, and my floor, which is my support level for the 5 days. And then what you're looking for is basically these trend lines. Okay. You're building support and resistance levels throughout the time period. And what you're doing to kind of see it a little bit clearer is you're finding 3 points clicks. Okay. So obviously we have more than 3-point click here. If I go off auto, what I always say is pull it left. Okay. And we'll make it smaller and go all the way until we get to a point where it comes back down. Okay. And you can see, we'll keep going here. All right. We've got 3-point click here. So we know that this right here is a potential support or resistance level. Now I'm going to go all the way back. Let's make it smaller. And same thing here. Okay. So now we've got this support or resistance level right here. Ravi, Google's flying. All right. We'll take a look at that in a second. We have this support and resistance level, more than 3 clicks. Okay. It got rejected multiple times before it pushed back. All right. And that's Friday. So a nice pump for Poet. Hit above that. Couldn't hold it. The sellers pushed it back down. Buyers tried to fight it back. Sellers won because it rejected on this resistance level. $4.71 pushed it back down. So now you're hoping for, as it's below on Poet, 449, you're hoping to get it back above 449 to show you upward trend. Okay, maybe not in the 24-hour because this is not a 24-hour stock. So tomorrow, 4:30 a.m., we'll have to see what it does. But you want it to break up and continue up. If it continues going this way, then potentially you're heading back to this floor of 397. And if it doesn't hold it, then you're talking a whole new set of support and resistance levels for Poet, and it's going to continue to drop down. Okay, let's go back to auto. All right, let's go to Google. Let's see what's going on there. All right, Alphabet. Here it is. Let's see what's going on. Oh, my Lord. You are not even kidding. Wow. Good for you all if you are in Google long term. Check this out. So Friday, wow. It was on a monster uptrend Friday, and it closed the market, okay, at 8 p.m. and opened back up. Holy smokes. Look at this jump, okay? Closed from 276 to 296. That's like almost a $20 jump, and it's holding up there right now. Dang, that's pretty incredible. Ravi, thanks for throwing that out there, man. That is beautiful. Man, I just wish the whole market looked like that. Let's go back to the SPY for a minute because Google potentially could push the S&P 500, right? Where are we at on the SPY? Okay, it did. Wow. So, right, check that out. Thank you, Google, because look what it did for us, right? We were here and Google launched and gapped it up. So gapped up the whole market. And this is what we think NVIDIA is going to do on Wednesday. We think NVIDIA is going to pump the market for us, but it might be Wednesday before we get there. So wow, that's incredible. And look at the S&P 500, which means everything else is probably following suit right now with the SPY. So let's look and see. Tesla, okay, no, Tesla's still nasty. Not nice. 402, it's up a little bit. Okay, AMD is now green running up with that. See, isn't that amazing how one stock in the Mag 7, Google, could pull the whole market up? And it's pulling back a little bit, but wick to 251. Nice on AMD. NVIDIA is up there, so it's up there. Palantir, not responding to it. Intel is still up, pulling red. SoFi, okay, in my box strategy. And I'll show you how the box strategy works too, since we talked about it. Rigetti keeps pulling down. Thank you, Rigetti. Wow. Pulling back a little bit. Okay, APLD is almost already out of my box strategy. I am so excited. I think APLD is going to continue to crank. And if you're in the Discord and you are in here tonight with us, Paulette, Ravi, Lynn, John, you haven't, not so much John, right? But the rest of you know, I play APLD every single day. And there's an individual that, see, this is it. This is the answer right here. There's a gentleman who has a YouTube channel, and I can't remember who he is, but he says he plays the market every Friday. He buys the stocks that he knows gap up on Sunday night. He buys those stocks and he gets out after the gap up or lets them run a little bit through the 24-hour market and then sells. And that's it. He doesn't trade during the day. He trades at night. He buys Friday night right before a market close and he rides the wave up on the gap up. And sometimes it gaps down, but nice. So, all right, pretty cool. QBTS, all right, it's 24-hour, but it's kind of pulling back a little bit. SMR is green, pulling up a little bit. Thank you. Man, you gap down. Interesting. Went against the SPY, and that's because it's an energy fuel stock, energy fuel company. All right, Cypher. It's not 24 hours. We'll have to wait to see tomorrow morning what that does. EOSE, also not 24 hours. QS is 24 hours. Nice. Above the previous close. Love that. QUBT, also just like Google. All right. So QUBT, I think, could be a winner tomorrow. The QUBT and QBTS, I think both typically could be winners. I think we looked at QUBT already, and yep, same thing. Look, it's a mirror image. QUBT, where's QBTS? Where's QBTS? There it is. Yeah, not so much. That's surprising. Usually they are in sync. All right, but QUBT is on a nice run. Forget that little red candle. Ignore it. Open. All right, not a 24-hour. We'll see what that does. NVTS, Navitas. And you know that I like to play NVTX, so that is the 2X for it. So it's not a 24-hour. Neither one of them are, but we'll see what it does tomorrow. Should be pretty good. Let's go back to the November list. All right, ONDS, not a 24-hour either. We got to wait and see, but man, it launched with the rest of the market. BBAI, where are we, BBAI? All right, we got to gap up, BBAI Army. We got to gap up on it. So, and listen, I see there's about 12 of us in here. Welcome. Drop your name, where you're from, in the chat for us so we know who you are. Thank you for being here. SLDP, also a little bit. It's not 24 hours, so we're going to see what this does in the morning. And is this the last one? LAES on that? Yes, it is. Not a 24-hour. So, is there anything anyone wants to see me chart? I will tell you that. Let's go back to APLD because I've already charted that one out today because I love that one. I want to see where my levels are. So if you want some levels, I'll throw them out there for you. And anybody that's charting APLD with me, I'll put the number. I'll put here. That's where we're at. 33.55 is that ceiling. 32.30, 30.98, 29.17, 26.74 in the box strategy. Okay, 24.45. Although this right here is about $25, is the top of the box. Oh, I knew you were going to ask for DVLT. I knew it. Hey, Ron Campbell. Ron, East Coast Canada. Welcome. Welcome, my Canadian brother. Welcome, Ron. Glad to have you in here, brother. Let's see. All right, we got that 24.45, which is where it's living right now. And notice that it's using it, basically it used it all day on Friday as a support level, dropped down, became a resistance level, but it's broken through it since we opened up now. And we are just above this box strategy. So we'll see what it does. But I will tell you that I'm doing something different right now. I've got a 9-day moving average, and I know that a lot of people like to use the 9-day. I'm doing a 9, a 20, a 50, and a 200. Now, I live on the 20. I like to follow the 20. The 20 is my green line. You could see the green line is being used as a support level. Well, the 9MA shows me the pattern, okay? But you've got to use it in conjunction with the MACD, okay? And the MACD right now in the 24-hour, in the 30-minute, just crossed over the signal. And for me, that's a buy. Okay, when you see the MACD cross over the signal, that is when you potentially, based on your candle, that's the buy signal for me, not for everybody. Okay, now you also have to go look at different time frames on that, because that doesn't always necessarily mean the truth. On the 1 hour, look at where the MACD is. It's way above the signal, and the daily is really the one that you want to kind of live by. And you can see APLD has been on a horrific downtrend with this nice green candle, but it's still showing the MACD below the signal, and we've got to get some turn on that before you would consider staying in it for the longer term. But as far as for me as a day trader, I'm very happy the MACD's above it on the 15, on the 30, on the 1 hour, and on the 4 hour it crossed too. So very happy to see that on APLD. Let's go to DVLT. Ravi is asking for that one. Let's chart that one out. That's the only one I didn't look at today. That's funny. All right. Let's do some charting on DVLT. All right. Let's see what happens. This is the 4 hour. Now, we're going to go to the daily for a minute, and let's kind of see what's happening. We're going to bring the MACD down. So now the MACD is on a downtrend. Although, look, if you look at it, it is curling up. Okay. It's hard to see it. It is flat and getting ready up. It just flattened out a little bit, but it is potentially on a run up, because look, we're having some upward trend mobility. The trend has been flat for the last several days on DVLT. I know a lot of people are in this one, so we'll see what happens with that. But let's go ahead and go to my 5-day, 30-minute. Robbie, we're going to chart this one out for you, bro. All right, and we're going to go ahead and just get 5 days worth of data. I'm going to pull my MACD down because I'm not as concerned about that when I do this charting. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's pull it over a little bit more. First thing we're going to do is we're going to find, and I need to close that. Okay, I need to close that. All right, so it's right up there at 205. So we're going to add a line because I can't see it, and we're going to make that 205. We know that that is our, whoops, not 205. 205 is our ceiling. Okay, and we're going to make that white, because my support, whoops, negative. We're going to make that white because that is my ceiling and my floor are always white. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our lowest point is really not even in the trading days, but we're going to use this one just to be safe. So let's go ahead and add another line, and we're going to hit it. I'm going to hit it on the green because I don't love that red in the, what time is that? Yeah, well, that's 8 a.m. So it's pre-market. All right, let's hit it. And let's make it white. We're gonna call a spade a spade. Okay. So now we've got our support and we've got our resistance levels for the 5 days. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this across a little bit, and we're just gonna start bottom up. So first thing I'm gonna do is hit the bottom, and I'm looking to see my line. Okay. So see how I locked in? Boom. So I've got the bottom of this monster beautiful green candle. That's where the buyers pushed it back up. So we're going to use that as a support level. And down here, you have 2 clicks on this double wick bottom. It's a double tweezers down there. Okay. And that's a positive uptrend double tweezer. So red tweezer to a green tweezer showed its upward trend again. And you got a lot of those on DVLT. So not bad. Not bad. All right. Now we're going to bring this back, small it up a little bit. And we're going to add another level. Okay. Now listen. Oh, that was a mistake. Well, we're going to go here because I got 3 ticks here. Hang on. Let me see here. Boom. Okay. Now, right now you're saying to yourself, like, Josh, how do you know where to put these lines? Okay. All I can tell you, there is no perfect way to do this, and there's no right way or wrong way to set your levels. You're just finding where it's rejecting, upward or downward. You're rejecting more than 3 times. And you see, I just added this level because it rejected here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It did break, fell down and came back. And then you have some fight here 1, 2, 3, almost 4, 5, right? So that is a clear one for me. Another one for me that I can see clearly just from looking at that is, and we're going to add this one, is the top end here. Okay. Because although it is above it now, we have multiple ticks in that day. And if you pull it across, you're going to see multiple hits. Okay. It rejected it here and pushed back up. Okay. It came down, came here, rejected it here, pushed back up. All right. Broke through, continued down, but here, rejection, 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 right? So you got a lot of points of rejection, rejection, rejection. So that's a good point. Now we're going to add another one because we got to get higher up. So we're going to go here and let's see what we got. Let's expand out a little bit. These are nice green candles on Friday for this. Okay. Let's go a little higher since we're down here and boom, lock it in. Why did not do that? Lock it in place. Okay. Multiple hits on Friday. Okay. Come across. You can see it used it as basically a rejection point here to push it back down. So it was a resistance. Same thing here. It continued to reject on here. Okay. Same thing here. So these are good points. All right. Now you may say, I don't like them that close together. And I think it was, I don't remember who was in the Discord was kind of giving me joking around with me saying like, Josh, yours looks like an EKG because of all the red lines. Well, I do because I want to understand, right? I could live with top and bottom for 5 days, but I want to know as a day trader. All right. For example, let's go to Friday. Let's just look at Friday for a minute. All right. So, I came out of pre-market down, came here, rejected and pushed down. So I'm not doing anything with it. Got this green candle, total uncertainty because there's not even a bar. It's all wick. And then boom, hit this. As soon as I see this green running above this level, heading to this support level, well, now I'm in. This is my buy zone right here. Okay. Let's go to the 15 minutes so you can see what that looks like. All right. And let's expand it out. All right. So again, same thing. See on the 15 minute. All right. Rejected all the way as a resistance level. Boom. Wicked above it, but showed me no, not ready. And then boom, hit this green candle. Well, now I'm a buy. And I'm in DVLT with you if I were to buy this one, Ravi. And I'm running it. And I get up here and I'm happy. And now I see this. Now, do I sell and get out of this one? It's potential you could say it, but look what happened. I'm waiting to see, does it break back down below this $1.59, okay, support level? And it didn't. It pushed back up, went green, and kept going, okay? So you have to live using these support and resistance levels. That's how you know where to buy and where to sell. And you cannot freak out and you can't panic. I hear all the time in the Discord or all the time from subscribers, okay? Hey, Zircon, Daphne A, welcome. So glad to have you. Thank you for being here. But I hear all the time, I got out too soon. I got out too soon. Okay. And I also get out too soon because sometimes if I'm at a comfortable level and I've made money I need to make, then I'm going to see profit, take profit. Okay. So you just have to decide where you want to go. Now, I will also tell you, if you don't understand how to use your candlestick patterns in support and resistance levels, then everything you made, you're going to drop down and lose it. So what would I say? Anybody want to drop in the chat what I recommend when you buy a stock and you're on a positive up run? What do I recommend you do? Somebody throw it in the chat. Discord members, throw it in the chat. What do I always recommend? Okay. Let's give it a minute because there's a delay, about a 10-second delay or so. Let's see if anybody throws in the chat what I recommend. And we'll keep going from there. But anyway, we're going to stick with those. And then, Ravi, let's go ahead, since we're up here, let's pull this down. We got one more, okay? And that is right about here. We're going to add that, but we're going to make this one blue because I want this to be my skies blue. So that is blue. and we want to break back above that for DVLT to continue to run up. All right. So let's see if you are in the chat with me. Throw in there, what do I tell you to do when you buy stock like this? What are we setting? Give you a hint. All right, what else should we be looking at? Anything else? Let's go back to Google for a minute because that was pretty awesome. Let's see what Google's doing. All right, Google's pulling back a little bit. Let's get back to auto. Google is pulling back a little bit, and that's okay. But it hit that high. Where are we? 296.87. Okay, 294.17. So still strong. Little bit of a pullback, but man, what a beautiful gap up. And you can't even call it a gap up because look, it wicked, and buyers, okay, however it works, pushed it all the way up there, and it's holding. There you go, Ravi. No worries, bro. All right. Let's see what else. We got all the AJDT best day trade stocks done. Is there anything else anybody wants to see? I'm kind of looking to see what we got here. Those are not 24 hours. Let's see. We did Palantir, Rigetti, APLD, SMR. Yeah. GameStop, which I live in. I own a bunch of GameStop, and it's just one of those things. Like, people joke around all the time and say it's kind of like a gang. It's the GameStop gang, But all right, BBAI, nice. Look at BBAI. Wow, holding very nicely up there, and I hope it continues to. All right, well, I didn't get it in the chat. You guys didn't give it to me, so I'm going to throw it out there for you. Stop loss. You've got to use a stop loss. Learn how to set trailing stop losses or set a stop loss. So if you get to a point where it turns and starts to drop down on you, because remember, escalator up, elevator down. If you're playing the 2Xs, those types of stocks are elevator up, elevator down. But yes, hit the like button. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But if you're in regular stocks, you're going to ride the escalator up. And if it goes to turn, you might end up in a falling knife situation, or it may just turn and start running down on you. And it's hard to catch them sometimes. So you want to have a stop loss. And if you use a trailing stop loss, I'm going to tell you minimum, my opinion, do what you think is right. But I'm usually a minimum 10 to 15% on any of my trades, because you've got to give it room to drop down. But if you're in profit and 10 to 15% keeps you in profit, awesome. If you buy into a stock, I usually set it about 15% because I'm going to give it room to drop down. Sometimes it's a loser for me, but listen, I'd rather lose a couple $100 than lose a couple $1,000 and be stuck in them. And that's how I feel right now, a little bit about my long-term portfolio. So, all right, box strategy. Let's do a box strategy. Are there any stocks anybody wants to see me do a box strategy on while we're in here? And since we're talking about that, join the Discord, go in the description. There's a link down there for you to click on to get to the Discord. You could also go to Friday's video, and there is a QR code you can use your camera on to join Discord. Would love to have you in there with us, as early as Monday with us, so that you're part of the team, part of the family. And the other thing I was going to say is, like Zircon Daphne said, hit that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for being here. Just waiting to see if there's anything anybody wants me to chart out with the box strategy, or I'm just going to pick one of my faves and we're going to roll with it. So you get an idea of that. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't have any type of strategy at all, you're just gambling. And that's basically just being raw, being real with you. You don't want to gamble. You've got to educate yourself. You've got to learn how to trade properly so that you're not losing money. You want to win. You want to make money. Okay. You want to buy the fear. You want to buy the dips, buy the bottoms, and make money while everybody else panicked and sold out. And you guys all realize, right, how you make money when you buy the bottom because other people sold out. So you're, in essence, I'm sorry to say it, right, but when you panic sell, you're just giving your money to somebody else. It goes to the house, and then somebody buys the stocks and wins that money back. They get that money, and they have your money. So don't let anybody have your money. Make the money. Make the money. All right, I'm going to pick one, last one here before we shut it down for the night. Let's see. I'm going to go to my OG list. I'm going to tell you one that I still love, and that is Ford. Ford is a very slow mover. So I haven't talked a whole lot about this in the, let's go to my custom. I haven't talked a lot about this lately or in the Discord group, but Ford Motor Company is F, okay? F is the ticker. All right, did I get that one right? What's going on here? There we go. All right. I don't like that. Let's go with F. There we go. All right. It keeps doing weird things, my screen. I have to talk to my engineer, my 14-year-old engineer about that. All right. So Ford is a slow mover, but one you can make some money in. And it's one that's very good for practicing getting in and getting out and support and resistance levels. Okay. So let's do this. Let's do the 5-day, 30-minute. All right. Let's pull it back. We're going to go all the way out here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and put some lines in this bad boy. Okay. We're going to get our horizontal line. And let's see, 1350. All right. That's about where we are. Let's make that white. You guys know how I like to do that. All right. Make it white. And let's go ahead and set a bottom. All right. So our bottom's going to be here on Ford. Let's make that one white. Okay. Kind of don't want to mess with the screen too much, but I don't know why it did that. We're going to pull it over a little bit. A little weird. All right, there you go. I can see on my editing screen that you can still see that. All right, so now we have a floor, which is $13, and the ceiling, $13.50. See, so over a 5-day period, you only had a 50-cent trend, and mostly it's uptrend, okay? But Ford's an incredible stock. Matter of fact, if you go to the daily, all right, just look at the uptrend Ford has been on for many, many days, right? This is April. So for months, Ford's been on a consistent uptrend. And I love that. That is really, it's been following the S&P 500 very well. My yellow line is the EMA 20. All right, very strong levels like that. And let's see what's going on, because for some reason on this one, we lost my 9. So we're going to go here and go to inputs, and we're going to make that 9. If you didn't know how to do this on Webull, this is how you set your estimated moving averages. All right, so we also have the 9. We've got the 20. This is 50 and the 200. And then we're going to go to our style, and we're going to click on the 50. We got the 50. All right, yep, 200. Let's see, my 9's got to be, actually, I don't remember my colors in the other charting. So I'm going to do my 20 is green, because I'm pretty sure I follow that as green. My 9 is purple. We'll just leave it there for now. There it is, Lynn. Lynn hit it. You're awesome, Lynn. Stop loss. See profit, take profit. Yep, these are all my quotes. See profit, take profit, and yes, use your stop loss. All right. Okay, so daily Ford. Let's go back to this. Let's go to the 15-minute now. I lied. Go to the 30-minute. There we go. All right. So over the 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we live within 50 cents. Now it's pulling back down from that 50 cents. But if you look at it as a day trader, okay, every day for Ford, except for this horrible day, if you follow those candlestick patterns, most every day you've got an opportunity to make anywhere from 20 to 30 cents per share. So watch what happens tomorrow with Ford, okay? Because you've got one green day up, out, one green day up, out, one green day up, out, one green day up, out. Every day you can ride Ford up. And you have to remember, though, what goes up must come down. So just be careful with it. But Ford moves very slow, so you can very easily watch it. It's not like a Tesla. It's not like any of those 2Xs. This thing moves at a snail's pace, so it's easy to track, easy to follow. All right. And then you can go in and you can do your support resistance levels. We'll put one here because that's basically a level right now. We're going to go here. Okay, that's a level here. And remember, what I'm looking for is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, more than 3. You got all these on this level here, over here, all these on this level here, right? We're going to add one up top here. Okay, go across, got all these hits. Matter of fact, it used this as a support level for the entire, basically rest of the day and the 24-hour market. Okay, through the post, pre and post, and then drop down. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that, but I'll give you those levels that are mine. You need to do some of your own homework, though. $13, $13.15. Okay, you could say $13.20 is another one in here. This could be considered a support level or resistance, either way you look at it. So about 13, let's say that's 1325, 1331 is my resistance level. 1342 is another support resistance level, and 1350 is our ceiling. So take a look at forward. Try forward. It's an easy one uh, to work with. And a lot of times when I do some one-on-ones, which I don't love to do, I'll be honest with you, because then people always say like, "Oh, you're giving me financial advice." I'm not giving you financial advice. But I do some one-on-ones every now and then, depending on what you're asking for. But this is what we teach. I take slow trades, slow stocks, and I'm showing you the slow movement in those stocks. Okay, and I think we could actually do the replay in here. Let me see if replay works. So we could like set here. All right, we could set here, say at 12 o'clock, or let's go here. Okay, and let's do the replay. Bar replay. Bar does not support. Oh, night session. We can't do it now. We can't do it now. So let's see if we can do the replay here. Come on tick. So we can do it. Check it out. Where is it though? All right, so it's going to come across here. Oh, because it's not giving us. It's just giving us. Yeah, it's giving us ticks, not bars. I don't love that. That's not helpful. We got to do the bars. But anyway, all right. So yeah, see, people like this a lot. I don't love this. And this is definitely going by, 10x speed. Yeah. All right. Well, not what I was looking for you guys. But anyway, it's possible. You can do that. So, all right. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, if this is your first time in the channel and you're watching this recording, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. That was not English. Hit the like button for me. Hit the notification bell. Thank you for those of you that are here live. I'm excited to see you in the Discord tomorrow. I'm actually going to go do a little bit more homework for you and start posting some things that will help you tomorrow. Obviously, tomorrow morning, you'll have some scalp picks. You're going to get our options hot list, which you got to be careful with right now, the way the market is. You're going to get a lot of breakout calls up and down. And, some of the things we throw in the Discord that you don't get the benefit of being here on videos and seeing. So if you want to join the Discord, please do. Would love to have you in there. Ron, you are welcome, brother. Thank you for being here. Lynn, Ravi, John, everybody for being here in the Discord. Zircon, Daphne, Ron. Who else was in here tonight? Let me kind of go over there and see. David, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I appreciate you. Let's see who else we had in there. All right, it's pretty much it for the chat. Thank you for being active in the chat. Thank you for participating. You all have an awesome night. We will see you tomorrow. Excited to see what the market does at the 4:30 a.m. when we open up to get ready for the 9:30 bell. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Josh out. Peace.